Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I want to talk a little bit more about the Mother Earth products. And I hope you don't get tired of me talking about these, but I am so thrilled with this company. Every time I do another order from them, I am even more happy with them than I was before. And here's the thing about Mother Earth products, is they are located here in the United States. It's a family business and they are really nice people. I've talked to a couple of them personally and they're just really nice to work with. And I tell you what, when it comes to a product, if you have a choice between a product, maybe a couple of products that are pretty similar to each other and you can't decide, I go with the ones that are not only based in the United States, but also have really great customer service and are just nice people to deal with, and I really prefer that. You know, unlike certain companies out there that a lot of people are a lot of channels are dealing with that have to do with whether it be dehydrated foods or solar ovens and stuff like that. Some of the people, they might be based in the United States, but maybe their customer service or their attitude is just really kind of not so great. So there's certain companies I won't deal with simply because of that, because they're not very helpful. But I've talked to Mark personally on the phone, super nice guy. Courtney I've interacted with on the emails. And then Lauren, she was so sweet. She sent me this little video that she made of her singing a song about me using their products and stuff, and to the tune of my favorite things, and it was really cute. It made me laugh. I was thinking about adding it to this video, but I'm not sure if she wanted me to do that, so I figure I'll leave it out. But anyway, very personable people, great to deal with. So I want to show you what I got in my last order. So if you remember from my last video, I'll go ahead and link to up here. I was talking about, these different products here and how I'd forgotten to order the mushrooms, and I was really irritated. So I ordered, I can't even remember how much of the dried mushrooms I ordered. But anyway, this is the bag of the mushrooms. So it should say right here how many pounds I ordered. I got 1 pound. So 1 pound of freeze-dried mushrooms fills up that much right there. So in my last video, it showed the products I bought were in the plastic bags, where these ones are in these gigantic Mylar bags. I'm thinking these are about the 5-gallon size, so I can reuse these. They have a Ziploc on them, so I can take this stuff out and put them into the jars and then reuse the Mylar bags for storing my grains and stuff in. So it's pretty dang cool. And so the other thing I got besides the mushrooms was some more of the, this is heavy because this is 5 pounds right here. It's funny, it takes up the same amount of room, but much heavier, obviously, 5 times as heavy, of the dehydrated potato dices. I really like the diced potatoes. I have some right here that I had tried. Even though we grow quite a bit of potatoes here on our own property, even in our small area, we got over 100 pounds of potatoes right here. We go through a lot of potatoes, so partly because I'll can up a good amount of them, which I love using for making potato salads and stuff in the summer. And then the rest I'll use, until they're used up, so I'll keep them in storage. But I really like having some dried potatoes on hand as well. Now I know I could dry them myself, but it's just like other things I've talked about, because I'm dehydrating so many things all the time. Certain things I would rather save my homegrown stuff to use fresh or canned, and then purchase some in a dried form from a company that I really trust and really, really like. And Mother Earth Products for me is that place now. But anyway, one of the things that I like I said in the last video, is that you can buy a size like this. You don't have to go for a big number 10 or a whole 5 or even 1 pound. And the size of this is the weight of this is gonna depend on what's in here. The potatoes are going to weigh more than the, than the mushrooms, the freeze-dried mushrooms, because these are dehydrated, they're not freeze-dried. Freeze-dried takes up more room and is lighter weight. That's just the way it is. But you can even go smaller than this if you're wanting to just sample stuff. And what I like to do, as said in my previous video, is when I get a big bulk, because that's going to be your best prices to buy the biggest amount you can afford, and then jar it up into your mason jars and then vacuum seal with your brake bleeder. And I'm laughing because in Lauren's song, one of the things she's saying in there was using brake bleeders to store up your food was one of the lines in the song, and I love that. But anyway, right here I have the sour cherries. And this is from my previous order. The garlic, and I have several jars of the garlic. I got a few jars of the cherries. I didn't buy as much of that. A few jars of the freeze-dried corn. I love the freeze-dried corn, non-GMO and organic. And then carrots. I got a lot of these because I go through a lot of the dried carrots. And then the onions. Another thing that I go through a lot of is the dried onions. And so that was, and like I said, I mentioned that in the last video. And then back here I've got raspberries, pineapple, all kinds of stuff. And this is just a sampling of what I have. So what I wanted to do, for those of you who are new, and by the way, before I forget, I will be putting a link down below, and I have it in almost all of my newer videos now, to the Mother Earth products. If you go through that link, you actually get, just right off the bat, you can get 10% off your order. And also that helps us because we get a little bit of, because it's our affiliate link, so it helps us too and keeps us doing what we're doing. And so as far as affiliates go, they have so far been my favorite place to deal with. I really like them. So the only reason I'm going to talk about a product like this and affiliate with them is if it's something I truly believe in and use on a regular basis myself, and that is the Mother Earth products. Is probably right up there, my #1. So anyway, I'm going to open this bag of mushrooms, and I'm going to go ahead. I actually did this in another video. Remember the mushroom cloud? Those of you who have been with me for a while. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some of these in a jar to start with. I'm not going to do all of this now, but my plan is to, since these bags are pretty big, and I've got some grains I'd like to store away, I'd like to go ahead and package these things up into the jars, and then use the bags for my grains. Okay, so let's pour these in here. Got my, whoops, got to get this guy out. Okay, and fill up just one jar for now. And make sure that when you fill up your jars, you kind of shake it down and make sure you can't fit more in there. You don't want it too full or you're not going to be able to get a good seal. But you can throw a few more in here. Now today, I plan on doing a video on this. I'm going to be doing another meal that's not soup, made from food storage items. And some of that stuff will be some of my own food storage items, things from my own garden, and some of the Mother Earth products, including the freeze-dried mushrooms. I tell you guys, I love these freeze-dried mushrooms a whole lot. And another thing I'm going to be doing down the road is how you can make your own cream of mushroom soup for using as a base for making like tuna noodle casseroles and things like that. So you don't have to buy that stuff from the store that's loaded with all kinds of garbage. You can make it natural. It's easy to do. I never buy soups. I used to when I first was married, but then I realized I could easily do it myself. I just kind of basically made up the recipe, and that's what I always use for my base, for macaroni and cheese or tuna noodle casserole, anything like that, even fettuccine, making a fettuccine Alfredo. So I'm going to put a few more mushrooms in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and vacuum seal it up. You eat one of these just right out of the bag, you'll probably just go, wow, these are so good. If you like mushrooms, that is. Okay, so make sure the rim of your jar is clean and that the edge of your lid, and you can use a recycled lid. And then, as I always show, I have several videos on this, just put your food saver top on there, insert your brake bleeder tip, and then you're just going to pump that up to at least 15 psi or higher, as high as you can go if you want. And you probably don't want to go too high. I don't know how much harder, probably depends on how strong you are. But anyway, once you get it to at least 15 psi, that should have it pretty well sealed. And sometimes you'll even hear it make a little tink sound when you're sealing it. And there you go. So now it's ready to go in food storage. Now there is some debate whether or not to put the band on here. The band can possibly cause it to lose its seal if you put it on too tight. However, because we're talking about freeze-dried and dehydrated foods, I'm not as concerned about losing the seal. I'd be more concerned if it lost its seal without having the band on it, because the band's going to keep it tight even if the seal gets lost. I've had that happen with a few things, and they were still really good. When you're talking dehydrated and freeze-dried foods, I recommend putting the band on there, but you don't have to. I rarely have issues with losing a seal anyway, but just in case, having that band on there just is a little added insurance to help keep it pretty well preserved in the jar. Put my band on. Okay, and then I like to take just a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I keep it in a spray bottle, or rubbing alcohol in other words. Rub that in for the ink stuff. Now remember, I'm using recycling these lids, and I recycle my lids over and over, and after a while it gets harder and harder for that ink to come off. So because the lid will get a little roughed up, and then the ink will want to stick to it. So the rubbing alcohol is a really good way to do it. And then just wipe it off with a clean cloth, and then you can write what's in here in case you can't tell. And then when you put it in here, so you know how old it is, especially if you're going to be jarring up a lot. And then what I do is, Patrick made me those boxes, and I'll show you a picture right here that I think I posted on Instagram a while back, that I think it was the garlic and the onions that I had jarred up. And you can see the wooden box. Patrick made me a bunch of those for storing my jars in. And it's perfect for storing jars of dehydrated foods like this, and freeze-dried foods. So that's what I'll be doing with the rest of the mushrooms and the potatoes, is getting them all jarred up and put into those boxes, and then recycle those bags for the grains that I need to get put up, because I have a lot of Azure standard grains I got to deal with. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and that you'll check Mother Earth products out if you have not already, or if you're still just kind of comparison shopping and looking at different things. You may, and you haven't decided yet, I recommend them personally. There's a lot of great companies out there, but they, so far, of all the ones I've dealt with, they are my favorite. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.